Hi guys, I'm here to talk to you about reducing fractions to its lowest terms, or it could also be called simplifying a fraction, or what I commonly call it when I'm being a bit lazy is called breaking down a fraction to its lowest term. Okay, let me just adjust my light there, see if I can get that a little bit. There we go, that's a bit better. Okay, so this is when you're trying to make a fraction as small as it can be in terms of its numbers without changing the value. So you're finding equivalent fractions that are low in terms of how big the numbers look. But essentially, you're trying to make a fraction that you can't make it any smaller in terms of the numbers by dividing by any other number. So the only number left to divide it with is the number 1, in which case it wouldn't change the fraction at all. Okay, so let's go through some examples. Let's go through 4 over 24, okay? So what you're thinking of is, which number can I choose that I can divide both the numerator and the denominator by to make the numbers smaller? It's no good choosing a number that you can only do the numerator or the denominator with. It must absolutely be a number that you can divide both parts of the fraction with. Okay, so in this case you could probably think, well, 2 works. Yep, it does, but 4 also works, and that will sort of save you a little bit of time here, okay? So all I need to do is, and you'd be showing you working just like this, is 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 24 divided by 4 is 6, okay? Now you can't divide you can't make that any smaller because it's 1 already, and you can't make 6 any smaller either in this sort of fraction. Okay, let's go through another example that's a little bit harder. Okay, so I've got 27 over 45. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what the bloody hell am I going to divide the top and bottom for with there? They look like really hard numbers. But what you can do is go through the numbers individually until you find one that works. Don't worry if you don't end up choosing the biggest number, because you can sort of go a couple of steps, and I'll show you an example with that a little bit later. So here you're probably thinking, well, 1, that's no use because 27 and 45 will remain the same. 2 doesn't work because they're odd numbers. 3 might work, okay? And if you keep going up in this case, 9 is a really good number that you could choose. So you've got to try and know your multiplication facts really well to sort of save you a bit of time here. So 27 divided by 9, okay? So here I've just got my fraction that is 3/5, okay? Can't make 3 and the 5 any smaller with any one number anyway, so you're all done there. Okay, so here's the example I was talking about. Say if you get an enormous fraction like, whoa, put my 8 there, 88 over 128, and you're thinking, holy moly, what am I going to choose? What number am I supposed to know that's going to divide 88 and 128? That's too hard. But you will notice in this case that they're both even numbers. So you can actually start with 2 and keep working at it until you're sure you can't get it any smaller. Okay, so 88 divided by 2 is 44. 128 divided by 2 is 64. Now, they're both even numbers again, so you can go again with 2. Okay, if you can't think of a number bigger to make it faster. So we've got 22 and 32. Again, they're both even numbers, so keep going if you can't think of one already. Okay, so then you've got 11 over 16. Okay, and I can't make that any smaller. And a key to knowing that you can't make it any smaller is that one of the numbers in the fraction, the numerator or the denominator, is a prime number. Okay, in this case, whoopsies, P-R-I-M-E, spelling not my strong suit. 11 is prime, so you can't make that any smaller, so you know you're finished. All right, there is absolutely no harm in doing it that way. And I would suggest if you see something that looks enormous like this and you freak out, just start with 2, maybe 3, if it's an odd number and it fits into both. But just keep working at it, keep showing you working. Because if you get to, oopsies, we've got 2 there. If you get to this stage and you leave it there, it's technically not in its simplest form. You could have taken it one further, but you might get some marks for this section. Okay, so do as many as you can sort of before you think, oh, it's too hard, I can't do it. I bet you can, because you need to keep chipping away at it. Okay, so again, just to recap, you're looking at what number can I use to divide the top and the bottom, the numerator and the denominator, to make those numbers smaller. Now you must have one number for both, okay? And also you've got to keep going until you're really, really finished, okay? That's about it. You need that skill to be able to add fractions together and take away fractions as well, but also to find equivalent fractions, because this fraction here, in all these cases, the first fraction and the last fraction that you end up with, and all the ones in between actually, are all equivalent to each other. You are not changing the value of the fraction. They all equal the same, so if you were to all put these on a number line, they would hit exactly the same point, okay? You're just finding the smallest equivalent fraction for the one that you begin with. All right, good luck.